What if there's a way to diagnose and understand the circumstances, events and forces that influence your life? And what if I tell you there is a way that can allow you to enhance your current success and bring it to the next level, that allows you to achieve the breakthrough that you truly wanted? And what if I tell you this very same tool can also allow you to forecast and predict your business activities as well as your career decisions? The tool that I'm talking about is the art of Feng Shui. Now, if you take a closer look at all the prominent tycoons and successful businesses around the world, they use this very structured and specific tool to help them stay ahead of the game and soar high above all their competitors. This very same tool is used thousands of years ago by the emperors of ancient China. Now, of course, this seemingly magical tool don't just work for emperors and big shot business tycoons. It works just as well for small businesses, professionals, or folks just like you and me. Now, this tool that I talk about is extremely effective for people who want to grow their business exponentially, reach their goals quicker, or bring balance back to their life, especially in terms of relationship and health. Now, how do I know all this? Well, that's because I'm paid to help some of these tycoons and big corporations that I was just talking about. Hi, I'm Joey Yap. I'm the CEO and founder of a high-growth, multi-million-dollar Feng Shui consulting business. And I'm a chief Feng Shui consultant to some of the world's most iconic buildings in Australia, in UK, in Vietnam, Singapore, and in Malaysia. Every year, I speak live to more than 50,000 people around the world who want to transform their lives using the art of Feng Shui, Chinese Astrology, and Qimendunjia. And in the last 2 decades, I have written and published 172 best-selling titles in this field. And my work has been featured on CNN, Bloomberg, CNBC, and BBC. And every year I also have my own TV show and on national TV sharing my experiences in Feng Shui and Chinese astrology. And I've created this very special 4-part training series on Feng Shui, sharing with you some of the secrets that I use for Asia's top business tycoons. Now, to follow through with this program, see the link that is on your screen above and below at the comment section right now. Click on this and do 3 things. Number 1, download the notes that accompany this lesson. Number 2, plot your Feng Shui destiny chart using your date and time above through the software. And number 3, join the secret Facebook group where we will discuss and answer questions that you have while following this program.
In 2004, I was working in a corporate company for telecom. I was a corporate girl, made a lot of money. But every night when I came home, I never was satisfied. So I had to work very hard. My private life was not balanced at all. So I had really a hard time. And but I said, well, I know that there must be more. So and then I met another master in Feng Shui who taught me a lot of theory, but not application. So he took me to Joey's event in 2008 in London. That's where I met you. And I was like, wow, this guy knows a lot of stuff that I don't know yet. So I signed up for his program to come to Malaysia. So I went to KL, and that's where it all started. There you showed us how real Feng Shui works. And magic happened. I used one of your dates, and I put the water there, and I said, I'm going to organize a workshop and give this stuff to my students. And 60 people signed up. 60 people in 3 weeks' time. I mean, in Belgium, right? In Belgium, they don't know Feng Shui. They didn't. But it happens. And my students were like, wow, this is amazing. So just learn the annual stuff, put fishes there because it helps, you know, this is the results. And I got 6,000 euro in 3 weeks' time. So it was like, wow, this works. In those few years' time, I now have a school, and I have more than 2,000 students. It was amazing. The first year I lived there, I tripled my business just by choosing a better Feng Shui house. I never thought that I could make it like this far, but thanks to Feng Shui, I succeeded, and I'm here.
Now, if you're watching this video, chances are you fall under one of these 3 categories of people. The first, I call them the go-getters. Now, if you fall under this category of people, you are likely to be hardworking, you're successful in what you do, you have achieved a certain level of career and or professional success. And you're probably looking right now for new breakthroughs. You think about what's next in your career. Or perhaps you have met with a certain blockage that stopped you from making any progress. Or perhaps maybe your success is inconsistent, maybe you're unstable, maybe you're fluctuating from jobs to jobs, and perhaps you're worried all the time because you had one unlucky break and that stopped you from making any progress whatsoever. So, meaning you are those that you want to get something out of your life, out of your career, you know there's something out there, but you're stuck at where you are right now. Or maybe you're going now smoothly, however you want more. You think that this is not it. There's gotta be more for this. How do I enhance it? So you want to go and get this success. The second group of people are called the givers. Now the givers seek fulfillment in terms of their relationships. They know that the most important thing in their life is the meaning that they create with the relationships that they get. However, at this stage or at this category of people, sometimes they end up in unreasonable arguments. They're stuck in unhealthy relationships. Or perhaps they're even drained mentally, physically, or emotionally in an environment that is not healthy. They may have the money, they may have the career, they may have the status, but at home, they don't feel at peace. And all they want in life is someone to give their massive love and attention to. And that's what's missing from their life. And the third category of people are called the seekers. Now the seekers' most important priority is to seek higher purpose, their spiritual connection, to be one with this universe. Now, for these people, it is a void that they need to cover. They know that they serve a higher purpose in this universe. But at this point in time, they probably have not achieved that yet. They probably know that their life purpose is to contribute to the community that they're in, to make an impact in other people's lives, but they just haven't found the tool or the right way to reach out and transform lives. And perhaps their worries and their anxiety and their concerns has cost them dearly in terms of their well-being, or maybe even worse, entered into chronic health issues. And if you fall to any one of these categories or more, then Feng Shui is the right tool you need to transform your lives. And I'm here to tell you that you are in the right place, because this 4-part training series will help you do just that.
Joey gave me the confidence to overcome any obstacle in my life with what he teaches. Every problem has many options. All we have to do is know the options. By using what he teaches, my life is improved.
Joey has a way of making it so easy to understand and making it very fitting for a person's life, and creating wealth, creating the right occupation, the right career path, having great relationships. His teachings are just amazing, and I think he's got such a gift for what he does, and he's just my #1 teacher right now.
But I had learned a lot of theory and not so much application. So when I started with Joey, I learned application, and then that's when things really started to change for me. Joey shares techniques that if you use them, change your life. And the trick is using them. And he actually practices what he talks about, which I think a lot of teachers teach, but they don't actually do. And he's very action-oriented.
You know, they say Feng Shui is a 2,000-year-old science, but truly Feng Shui gains prominence during the Tang Dynasty. And the most famous of all Feng Shui masters is Grandmaster Yang Yun-Sung. Now, Grandmaster Yang Yun-Sung lived during the Tang Dynasty. In fact, he was the imperial Feng Shui master and grand astronomer, one who's in charge of the Feng Shui of the imperial palace and the Feng Shui burial grounds, and more importantly, selecting the timing for the emperor to do a lot of important activities such as launching war or war campaigns, or making important decisions for the benefit of the entire country. Now, in those days, Feng Shui was a restricted art, restricted only to the upper echelons and the imperial class. Therefore, only the imperial family and or the notable prominence of society back those days are allowed to use Feng Shui. One day, in the Tang Dynasty at the imperial court, there was a fire. And in that chaos of that moment, Grandmaster Yang took the important classics of Feng Shui and escaped to this village called Gouchao, away from the imperial forces. Because in his heart, he knew that such important science should be spread out to help mankind. So, at this little village of Gouchao where he resided, he took on two disciples, one with the surname of Sung and the other one Liu. And by old traditions, just like all old masters, even though he wanted to spread the art, but he's always worried that if this art lands in the wrong hands, it may do more damage than good to mankind. So what we did was, with one of the disciples, he taught the art of landforms, to be able to recognize the energies and the powers of the land just by looking at the mountains and waters, able to track and trace energy flow, track the dragon winds and dot the meridian spot. And to the other student, he taught him the art of chi manipulation, to be able to calculate time, space, event, and how energies of the stars and the universe work, so that he is able to calculate the energy flow and time and predict events. So you could say that his art is divided to the yin and yang side of things, with one student being able to master the land and master of the environment, to see through the land, and the other to be able to see time and space. These two disciples grew up in the same village and at that time able to pass on the information as two different schools of Feng Shui. So there's the form school where these disciples are trained to recognize the dragon vein formations, the types of mountains, there are 81 types by the way, how the mountains move, how the chi coagulates and form forces of nature called meridian spots, where once dotted they can form business tycoons or even imperial leaders or generals. This art is called Lun Tao Feng Shui. And the other school, which is known as Qi manipulation and Qi distribution, known as Formula School to many English-speaking students today, houses the art of San Yuan Feng Shui, or Time Space School, Xuan Kong Feng Shui, 64 hexagrams, or Flying Star Feng Shui, or even 8 mansions. So that school is all about calculations, about how the trigrams, about mathematical formulas, but they don't recognize landforms. So these two schools have been independent all this while dominating the history of China. Some of the greatest cities are founded on landform feng shui. Some of the most prominent business tycoons, scholars and poets are created through formula distribution, formula-based feng shui. But up until the Qing dynasty, these two schools are separated. In the last 20 years, since the dissemination of information on the internet, many people, especially in the Chinese-speaking world, have access to these ancient scrolls. And therefore, in the last 20 years, a lot of people have attempted to merge the two systems back together. But there's a lot of missing pieces here and there. And there are two spectrums of people. Those who explore the history and the theoretical aspects, they know all the theory, they merge the two on the theoretical aspect. And then there are those who are very good at applying Feng Shui, but they're not very good at the science and theory of these aspects. And we are very fortunate to live in these times where we have access to all this information. It's not like those days, like more than 20 years ago, where we have to approach a master and almost beg them to release the information. And if they know that you're from a different school, they're not going to teach you. Today it's much easier to access the secrets for these two systems. There's always strengths in form school and there's always magic in the formula distribution school that you need to combine to make Feng Shui work. So I call this the Joey Yap system. The Joey Yap system marries both tactics and strategy together as one complete unit.
Joey Yap is my favorite teacher. I think he's the best in the world. Nobody else is like him. He just drill everything into head. That's the good thing about Joey Yap. I love him. With all this, what I learned from Joey Yap, it has become most useful for me in dealing with the people and solving people's problems.
I really enjoy all of Joey Yap's workshops. He is extremely smart, so much experience, and he is relevant to people of all levels. Is so able to use his formulas. Some people can have the knowledge, but they cannot impart as well as Joey Yap.
This course, I absolutely love it because it shows you on how ordinary people become extraordinary, and would recommend to everyone.
Now, strategic Feng Shui involves focusing on 4 specific areas. The first is the environment, second is the building, the third are the people, and the fourth is time. Now, these 4 very important factors need to be strategically aligned in order to generate Qi for Feng Shui to work. Today, I want to focus on people. I want to focus on you. Now, how we're going to make this work is really simple. Now, check out the link above and or below your screen on the comment section or on your screen right now. Click on this and it will lead you to a very special Feng Shui software. Now, on this link, you can key in your date and time of birth and you can also use it to plot your Feng Shui chart, and with this, you can follow the next part of this program. Now click on the pause button in this video and quickly go onto this link and print your chart. On your document, you should be able to see this information here. There is a number. Now this number is your Feng Shui Gua number. This represents your Feng Shui energy or your Feng Shui element, so to speak. Now in every Feng Shui chart, there are two very important aspects. One is the people. So the person has his or her own Feng Shui chart, and the house has its own Feng Shui chart. The idea is to align the two. But first, let's look at your chart. Now in your chart, you will discover that the 8 directions correspond to your personal 8 trigram or 8 palaces, how it influences your life. Now this system is known as 8 mansions Feng Shui, and it divides the people to 8 specific guas. And I want to share with you the strengths of these 8 specific directions or sectors in your home and how it can be enhanced or manipulated or used to enhance different aspects of your life. Now, all life begins with references to the self. So there's always one specific sector or zone or area of the house that's known as the Feng Shui Life Palace. So on your printout, you should be able to see a number right here. So this number here, it's your Feng Shui reference number. It's not your lucky number. It just represents on the Feng Shui map, which has 8 directions, which one of this represents your personal Feng Shui destiny or Feng Shui life palace. So it represents you. So this is the starting point of all Feng Shui, the reference point. So we begin analyzing Feng Shui of a home first by understanding the self. The first thing you want to know is what are all the other 8 sectors. So here you can see written on the corner of your chart here, one of them represents your Feng Shui destiny palace. That I call this the identity. Okay, and then there's one that is in Chinese, it's called Xing Qi, but it actually talks about creation, about creativity, about generation of wealth, or some people call it the wealth palace or the wealth sector. Now, there is a sector here that talks about specifically about your well-being and your health. And here, this is really important. I call this the social charisma, but sometimes people call this their relationship or their connectivity sector. More about this later. And how about these 4? Traditionally, people think that these are negative directions. In my view, they are not. They are just different types of energy that if you know how to use them, can bring you immense and unprecedented growth in terms of your business and your career and even your personal life. You want to make a transformation, you got to look at this part here and then know how to use them, and I will show you how. Let me briefly tell you what they are. One of these sectors here governs your trials and tribulations, your ability to learn and master leadership, the ability to lead and manage people. And here's another one. It talks about your likability, your peach blossom, and or some people call it relationship, but I call it your affinity with other people, your likability factor, your X factor. And check out this one. This is your personal adventure palace. It talks about how you can gain important experiences and insights and learning into mastering a specific skill and or mastering the challenges in your life. And this one is so important because it talks about spiritual and mental aspects. Now, some people call this 5 goals. Well, 5 goals, if you don't know how to use them, it can represent someone being superstitious or talking behind your back. It could also represent petty people. But if you know how to utilize this specific zone, it talks about one's ability to conquer inner fear, the courage to face one's difficulties, the faith that someone has in themselves. So this is a very, very important palace. In fact, all of them are important. And today, we're going to focus on the first 2 that I think that you need to start off with when you practice Feng Shui. The first is this palace. The traditional Chinese word for it is called Fu Wei, which represents the self palace and or the stability palace. But what it really means, if you look at the trigram, this is your personal trigram or your personal identity palace. It talks about your confidence in decision making. Think about it. Every part of our life, whether it is our career, our relationship, our health, involves making decisions. And if you can make decisions with confidence, with certainty, you have a better life. So this governs that ability in your life. And this specific zone, this specific area governs one's ability to analyze and or receive education. So that's why the star here is actually an academic star, which governs your ability to learn. You think about it. Anything that you want in life, from where you are right now to where you want to be, better relationships, better health, breakthrough in your career, getting unstuck, it's a question of knowing how. If you knew how, you could change things. That is all about the education. So if you know what to enhance in your house or which areas to look for to enhance, which I'll tell you later in this series, of course, you will be able to change this aspect of your life quite easily. And the condition of this palace talks about your biasness towards innovation and improvement. You see, people are stuck where they are because they simply don't know that they should be improving, or didn't have the desire, or didn't have the intention to improve. They're just busy feeling stuck. Now, if you knew how to change that, you have a biasness towards innovation and improvement, you can change and you will change. So all in all, this particular life palace governs your positive attitude, your behavior, your sensitivity towards awareness of what's going on around you. You see, awareness is the first key to change. Therefore, if you want to influence anyone else that's living in the same house, you first have to find out which sector, which area is their destiny palace. So it talks about your innate motivation, your desire to become better. This sector represents you. So your first task right now is to identify where is this in your house? Which area is it? What do you have inside this area? Not just the items, the layout, the building. Remember the building we talked about? What is inside this area? The next part is what is outside this area. What do you see outside? Is it just your neighbor's house? Is it the lawn? Is it the garden? Is it a golf course? Is it the park? Is it the swimming pool? What is it? Observe. This part is just about observing, okay? Find out what you have in the internal and the external. The second most important sector here, it's called the life generating sector, or in other words, the creation sector. Now, everything about life is creation. You think about it, the moment your life began, when your heart started beating, some universal divine force created that life force within you. So your heart started beating, your arms grow, your brain grows, your body grows, and then you are born to this world. That itself is creation. Creation is also the solution to all your problems, because your problems are created somewhat by circumstances, events, or other people. So you got to create a solution. You also create wealth, create opportunities, create possibilities. You also create positive energy that vibrates and resonates with other people. Relationship is an ongoing thing. You create that positivity in relationship, or you create something out of nothing at all. For example, where love don't exist, you can create love. When there's no value, you create value. Like a piece of land has got no value, but you create a building, you create a structure on top of it, you created value. Business or career or anything you do in life is that value creation. Therefore, this sector is your wealth sector. You want to be better, you want to improve your life, this is the second most important sector that you should take note of in your life. It governs what traditional people call the wealth chi. It governs whom you like to help, where you focus your attention to, and who can help you. This sector allows you to see the needs of other people and be able to fulfill it. That's why businesses and careers are created by the use of this specific sector. And last but not least, this sector governs your wealth capacity. That means how much of wealth that you are able to create while living in this house is literally governed by the energy that this space receives. Therefore, it is essential that you go and study what is on the internal or the external of this sector. Now, you don't know how to use it right now. This is the analysis part. First, you need to know where these areas are in your house. That's your task right now. And in the following lessons, I'll teach you how to unblock the chi in these sectors.
Datuk Joey's classes gives hope to people, when they attend the classes. It's not that your life is just fixed, and then looking at from his teaching, you have hope to change or to better your life.
Joey interprets the masterclass or Feng Shui Module 4 to the modern times. It's much easier to understand than the old Feng Shui. So it's easy to apply the methods he taught us here when we go home and to our regular lifestyle, our regular living, or if we were to invest in a property, we could apply the applications right away. If a person has some issues in life, maybe with work, with family, they could always have the help just by a little bit of a knowledge. And the person that really trying to maybe grow their career or trying to solve issues in their family, this can only help them in really a positive way in just a short amount of time.
So I started Feng Shui 5 years ago because I saw the miracle that really happened, the invisible things that We didn't know that they stay there and the environment really support us to be better and greater than we are.
So you know these two very important sectors in the house. So before you learn how to enhance and negate all the negative energy, first you must know what you really want. Now, to know what you really want, first you have to understand what problems that you are currently facing. Now, everybody have problems, okay? The reason why we are not getting to where we want to be is because somewhere in between, there is a problem. So first, we have to be able to recognize clearly what it is in order for us to solve it, because our solution could be one of these 8 sectors. So this next part here is so important before we go on to the details of the 8 sectors, is to identify clearly what could be obstructing you. Let's say now we're talking about wealth or career. Maybe in your career you feel stuck. Maybe in your career you feel that this is not valuable use of your time. Or you feel that you could be much greater than this, but you're stuck because there's some people in that organization or in that field that is blocking you from achieving the success that you intend to achieve. Maybe you feel that you've done all you can do, you put in all the hours and all the hard work, yet at the end of the day, you still got the shorter end of the stick. Maybe you feel that some way or somewhat you're not recognized for the amount of energy you have put in. Now, this definitely is a Feng Shui problem. There is something wrong with your house that you can fix to unblock this, okay? Because there's no way that you're committed so much energy and you're not getting the returns. This is about blockage. You need to recognize that there is a blockage. Or maybe you're doing pretty okay in your career, right? You're doing pretty okay, but you know that, you know what, my greatest wish is to start my own business and have my own empire, but time is catching up. I'm getting a bit old already and I didn't have the courage. That itself could be also a Feng Shui problem, because your house is supposed to give you the confidence and the warmth and the faith to be able to branch out on your own. And if you're not achieving that, you should tweak your Feng Shui. Or perhaps everything about your career and job is fine, but the moment you go home, things start to fall apart. You're just not happy at home. When you see your spouse, that spark isn't there. Or perhaps people are just falling sick in and out of sickness all the time. You seem to be visiting the hospital more than going on holidays. So if that's happening in your home right now, the health chi of your house is affected. You need to look at the health palaces, which I will show you in the next following lessons, how you can identify this. You need to know what is affecting you right now. Or maybe your health is alright and your career is great, but in your private affairs, you seem to be attracting the wrong kind of people into your life. Or worse, you're stuck in the wrong type of unhealthy relationship that you can't even get out of. That is bad Feng Shui. You can fix that. You have to understand what is causing it in the first place, understand the energies that's either affecting you or causing your partner to go crazy on you. Well, find out what it is and then rectify it. Because remember, we talked about 4 important aspects of Feng Shui. You can always exercise corrective Feng Shui to correct the problem, or you can use diagnosis Feng Shui to diagnose why things are happening, how it is happening, and possibly tweak the outcome. Or maybe if you're really good at Feng Shui, you can even enhance the positive aspects of your life, thereby improving the quality of your life. Or better yet, you're planning for future growth. You want to be able to forecast and predict your actions and outcomes. So you see, there's a lot of room for improvement the moment you understand how Feng Shui works for you. So I hope you enjoyed our first introductory lesson to Feng Shui. Now, to prepare for the next lesson, I need you to click on the link that you see on your screen or above and below at the comment section right now. Go in there to print your chart if you're not already done so, and or to watch the mini videos that come along with this program that teach you how to plot the chart and understand the contents of your chart, and to learn how to get your Feng Shui house chart. So download the notes, watch the mini videos, and be prepared, because lesson 2 is totally going to rock your foundations and transform your life. I'll see you there.